We're live. Hey guys, RT Bear here. Hack Shack Studios is where I am broadcasting from. This is where all the magic happens, the comic book magic, that is. And we're going to do a Pontificator show for the next 2 hours, man. We're going to rock and roll. And we're going to, we got, oh my gosh, Jerry Seinfeld's come out on oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Variety. And he's come out and he said some stuff, and we're going to get into that. But the first hour, mainly, we're going to focus. We got a special guest. We got Mike Barron in the house, and I'm sure everybody, all the Pontificators, have questions. You guys, if you in the chat have any questions, feel free. And he's got a brilliant campaign, Nexus Scourge, and it's on 3 different platforms. It's a pretty ballsy idea. We're going to get into that a little bit, and just, man, I'm going to gush all over the guy, because before I broke in professionally, I was a Nexus fan. I had the magazine-sized ones, and I know I always bring it up to Mike, but one had a little, it was a floppy, 45 record, and you could play it, and it was freaking cool, man. And we can talk about that, and anything you guys in the chat, feel free, chime in. So let's get everybody in. Let's start the show. We got the sexiest man in comics, who just closed out Maidens of Mayhem. So it was weird setting up the show because there was no Maidens of Mayhem anymore, and Black and White has been closed out too. So we don't have anything to promote. So we're going to promote Mike Barron's book. So let's get Clint Helinski in.
You know better than that, Art. We've always got something to promote. We got upcoming projects like Oodles of Doodles.
Yeah, baby.
And Pirate Queen versus Slave Girl. So it's just a little hiccup between next projects. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah, the things keep rolling. Exactly. So yeah, we got the animation guy. He's got some great stuff lined up on his YouTube channel. He's got a school, and he does animation trailers for everybody. And he's working on an epic one that he shows us behind the scenes. I can't wait till he's able to drop that on you guys. But Mr. Pedro Ang, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? I remember those paper records.
It's like a plastic. It's like a flop.
And it's very thin vinyl.
Yeah, it's like the size of a 45, I think.
Yeah, I had an interview with Ron Jeremy on one of those.
What?
What? And I don't. Yeah, it was an interview with Ron Jeremy. For some reason, it wasn't a little paper vinyl thing. I was
so Ron Jeremy, that
dude.
So you were talking about Ron Jeremy's floppy?
No. It was a little vinyl thing, and they had an interview with him. I was 12. I didn't know who he was.
You were 12?
Yeah, dude. It was weird. So when I was 20 something, I remember wait, I had an interview. Dude, it was weird. It was weird.
All right. Well, hey, we haven't had this guy on in a long time. He is the voice of reason. He always has great story ideas. He is a writer and just a big CG supporter, and used to come on quite a bit on Pontificators. I'm not sure what's happened, but he is going to grace us for the next 2 hours. Mr. Todd DeWolf, what's up, brother?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, what happened? Life happens, We all know things happen in our lives, and so I've had to take some time away, but it's great to always come back to the Pontificators.
Yeah. Oh, you want to know something about life? This is my life, Todd. So when you say life happens, this is my life.
Whoa, hold on though. Wait a second.
Wait, what's going on?
Whoa, surprise!
Whoa, man, he moves like a flash.
He's nimble, man. He's a nimble
right
man.
There is life.
Oh yeah.
This is what takes up so much of our time, energy, and our efforts, right? That right there is Art's life.
Yeah, making comic books. Well, I'm going to use that as a segue to get this next guy in. We only have him for an hour, and sometimes he doesn't even announce his departure. He'll just leave.
Just
here.
He is a mainstay on the King Show. That's Ethan Van Sciver show on Monday, and my gosh, just so many books over the years. Nexus, all the Marvel stuff, all the DC stuff.
Punisher, the Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher run. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff. And we're so flattered and excited to have this man on the program. So, Mr. Mike Barron, what's up?
Thrilled to be here, boys. Thrilled to be here.
Yeah, I'm tongue-tied. I don't even know how to talk to you.
Use English.
Use English. It works best.
Yeah.
Speak American, damn ye.
Damn you. Yeah. That's proper English. Damn you.
Yeah. I mean, I can go south of the border if you're.
You are south of the border.
Exactly, but I can like totally go like, hey Mike, entonces el último libro que hiciste, ¿cómo te fue? No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah.
Hey Pedro, I do have something to ask. Okay, when you speak Spanish, whatever, are you speeding it up, or
no?
So when the pace that I'm talking right now, when you speak Spanish or whatever, you're speaking the same speed because it always sounds fast.
No. The thing is like Panamanians speak really fast. So
it is fast.
Hey Arturo, ¿cómo estás? Entonces mira, vamos a llegar ahora y tú te sirves el arroz, yo te sirvo la vaina ahora, cojo una chicha, 2 cervezas y vamos.
Do you think you could speak English that fast?
I could try, but
what would that sound like?
Okay, Art, you bring the rice and the beans. I have 2 beers for you right now. No, I can do it.
Yeah, it's harder to speak English that fast.
Yeah. It's my second language, sir.
You know who can speak that fast?
Spanish kind of rolls. Like Spanish kind of rolls, so you can speak it faster. It seems like.
Yeah.
Well, we got a full house here. We got Marcus Killigrew. We got Leg Kick 1. We got Citizen Ronin. We got this guy. How would you say that? Jav Styler?
Jeff Styler.
Jeff Styler.
Styler. Oh, Styler. Okay. Well, there you go. And we got Sheldon Martin in the house. We got Edwin the Ace. Volume 3 is coming out very, very soon. So you guys look forward to that. We got, where was that? One Slick Dude. I have no proof of that, so I'm gonna have to take him at his word that he is a slick dude. There was a time that I cared about such things, but I don't really care anymore. Marcus says he wants to hear about the floppy Ron Jeremy problem.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It was a very weird uncle, and he had a collection of stuff, and one of them was that, like a little like vinyl thing with an interview of John Jeremy. I didn't know. He was like, I'm Ron Jeremy. You might be from, and he named like a couple of movies. I was like, When I was there, I was like, oh my god. But like years after, just weird.
Well, I want to ask Mike a couple questions, and then we're going to get into his Fun My Comic. He's got an Indiegogo and a Kickstarter campaign all running at the same time for Nexus Scourge. And I want to ask you this: what was going through your mind when you first created Nexus? That world is crazy nuts, man.
The boys to whom we were pitching said they wanted a costume superhero, and I hadn't really thought of that because we'd been working on something else. But then I did think about it, and my first thought was, what would be exciting? What would be compelling? Well, what if somebody died every time he showed up? And that's not a brilliant new insight. That's the stuff of life and death, which is the stuff of drama. But I wanted to make him a sympathetic character. So he became a reluctant executioner of mass murderers. When Nexus sleeps, he has these horrific nightmares about the dictators and their crimes. They're almost tactile. They're almost real. And when he wakes up, he understands that he has to remove that person from existence, or the dreams will recur and become more and more intense until they drive him mad.
So do you ever get into what is actually feeding this? Is it like a
Yes.
supernatural?
Oh, yes. No. There's a
Okay.
big explanation. It comes, I think, around issue 13 or 14 when he discovers that the seemingly dead world in which he's been living is occupied by an insane alien called the Merc. And it's the
Mm.
Oh, I
Merc who
remember the
sends him the dreams because the Merc has decided that Horatio Hellpop will be the conscience of his race. And the theme of an insane alien, well, how do we know they're insane at all? Because one of the recurring themes in my science fiction and in Nexus in particular is if we encounter an alien race, would it even be possible to communicate with them? Because our
Mm.
references would be so drastically different.
Well, Mike, you know how I would do it? I would do it like with lights and like sound like bum 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 bum.
Yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah,
So
Maybe.
dumb.
Maybe.
it's a great idea. I don't know. You know what was dumber than that? Do you remember that movie Independence Day?
Yeah.
The Welcome Wagon.
Yeah.
I was so happy when they died. I was so happy when they died. Yeah. The lights
All
were
right,
like
my next question for Mike is, and if you guys have any questions, fire away,
Sure.
because I'm sure Mike loves it, is Steve Rude, the dude. So were you guys like,
Mm.
was like a garage band? Somehow I imagine it's like you guys were like a garage band. You guys were doing comic books, you know, in the garage and just putting out your own books. And he was a neighborhood kid, you know, that kind of thing. Or how did it all happen?
Well, we met by chance. I was working at an insurance company, and this editor called me and said, "There's some kid down here trying to sell us his art, and he draws just like you," which is a joke because I can't draw. So I met him, and he opened up his portfolio. And I thought, wow, well, what do you want to do? He said, I want to do comics, but I can't write. What do you want to do? And so we hooked up and we did one project which was published by Pacific Presents before we met the guys at Capital City Distribution that wanted to do their own comic. And that's and we showed them that project, and Milt, who's still my friend, said, nah, we want a costume superhero. And so I went home and cooked up Nexus. And I drew each page out by hand, the first 12 pages, which is how I wrote comics for 20 years. And I gave it to the dude. He penciled it, inked it, lettered it. We took it back and showed it to him, and they said, yeah, now we need 20 more pages.
That's how I write as well. It's all visual.
Do you really?
The only thing that I'm trying to not do anymore is it just takes so much damn time. So I usually get caught up in like, oh, I could make this better. So instead of just like little stick figures, Mike, it always becomes like more elaborate than that. So then I always get caught up in the drawing instead of just like, you know, laying it out for the story. But I find it a lot of fun if you have the time, you know, to write.
That's the hazard of being an artist. I don't do that anymore. I write full script now, and I think the books have gotten better, not because script writing is a superior form than drawing the page out. It's just that I've learned a lot about writing.
Yeah, and also the good thing is I think wearing the other shoes, like learning the craft, like you actually learned how to construct panel to panel stuff visually. You know, it might not have been, you know, as good as Steve Rude's, but you understand, you were, you know, teach yourself pacing and, you know, how many panels, payoffs, you know, all that kind of stuff while you were drawing. And I look back and I think, well, I have dyslexia problems, so it's real hard for me to write anyway. So I just find it easier just to, just doodle it out and move on. But
exactly, it teaches you so many invaluable lessons. I recommend it to anybody who wants to create their own comic, whether they can draw or not. Just drawing the panels out on the page and thinking, what goes here? What goes here? What do they say? Is an important lesson because it teaches you so many things. It teaches you how much weight the page can bear. But most importantly, it teaches you to think about what happens next, which is the essential question in all fiction. What happens next? Because if the reader doesn't care, he's not going to turn the page.
Well, you know what I found? There's two things. One, is it visually interesting? So if you can doodle it out and it seems like things are happening, then you know that it's a good layout. And two, like the thing, like I've written screenplays with other people. I've written novelizations of some of my comics, and I've done comic books, right? Pitches, different things. Comic books is one of the toughest because it's really limited. You go, okay, there's 22 pages, there's 6 panels per page. There's all the time in the world to tell a story. There is not all the time in the world to tell a story. Yeah.
Well, comics are, they seem like a transparent medium, but they are what you make of them. And I'm working in longer forms now. Each story is at least 66 pages, but we can go longer if necessary. And the story has a pulse and a rhythm of its own, and that's reflected in the number of panels per page and what you show. I do think visually, and I want this story to be exciting. But the words and the pictures go hand in hand. If you want that comic to succeed, to be memorable, so that people say, yeah, that was a good comic, I'll read that again, then everything has to click.
Yeah. I remember talking to Marv Wolfman, and he said most of the writing I do, no one ever sees. He said, because all that stuff I'm writing, like the scene, like the staging, the fight, all that stuff, just description of new characters, all those things, no one will ever see those. They see the word balloons. And then he was saying he made a kind of an editorial, or not an editorial. He actually said that he feels like modern writers are more hung up on like the dialogue.
Well, there's no question about that, and most of it is crap because it doesn't sound the way real people talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's weird because I just get a stack of books, like I'm sure all you guys do, and I bring it to the throne room, so while I'm dropping a deuce or whatever, I'm just going through stuff. And I've been looking at like Michael Bendis stuff, and I really think that he thinks this is natural dialogue, but all it is like repetitive, like it's repetitive. It's like it's repetitive. It's like it's repetitive. Like that's like his dialogue. And it's like, oh, that's naturally how people talk. It's like not necessarily. And also I think it does wane on your patience, because it's like, well, what's the point? Where's this going? Like every time I read like more modern Bendis stuff, I'm always like, get to the point. Like it's people just talking and talking and talking.
It was like a short-lived gimmick for him or something.
Well,
yeah.
That's
because I just read what was it, Avengers? I forget. It's probably 15-year-old book, and the plane is crashing, and the whole, well, it's about like 2/3 of the way that the plane crashes, but all it is the Avengers. These are characters of action sitting in a private plane, talking. That's all they're doing. And most of it is just recapping the issue before. And I'm like, dude, nobody wants to pay for like a recap of a story. They want a new story.
Well, it can be interesting if you have fresh dialogue and you use it for characterization and they say clever things, but that usually doesn't happen. Or
tell it from a different point of view. It's
Hey.
a different character's take on the same thing that happened. But no, that's not what this was. This was pretty much just a talking head recap. So if you guys don't know, I'm going to show Nexus. This is Mike's newest project. And how old is Nexus now? 40 years old?
A little more. The first book, I think, was published in 1981.
Oh, wow.
Oh, crap. Yeah,
and I have to say that this new book that Kelsey Shannon has illustrated is one of the best I've ever done.
Yeah, this is just a great looking package all the way around. Like visuals, the writing. Kelsey looks like he really was into this.
Yeah, I think he's in it for the long haul. I hope so, because we got more Kelsey planned.
Cool.
Oh, sweet!
That's
Look
awesome.
at this.
Kelsey's a freaking beast.
The thing I hate about Kelsey is he makes it look easy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Effortless, and yet so dramatic. So dramatic.
But also look at the scope of this. Like you can literally just pan down and then you see that little figure just kind of flying over.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, that's not the Silver Surfer, so don't get
That's
excited.
it's Gnosis. It's Gormando's herald. Because dude asked me, he said, Mike, what's the ultimate Nexus story? Without even thinking about it, I said Nexus versus Galactus, but we don't own Galactus, so I created my own, and that's Gormando. And I think anybody who reads the Gormando stories is going to say, yeah, this is what Galactus should be.
Yeah, I love made up like sci-fi names, Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Gormando is a good name.
Gormando.
Well,
Yeah.
Gormando, it's a play on the word gourmand, of course, who's a refined restaurant visitor who likes to eat, and Gnosis, who is his herald, that means knowledge in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. I like this. There's this spiral staircase, like
Oh yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah, I love that stuff that he does. Would you play the video?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to give some visual.
Oh yeah, scroll down so they can see it.
The
I
Nexus
have a
ship
question
is
though.
always cool. Go ahead.
I have a question, Mike. Like within the Nexus universe, because I've been like trying to read what I can find on it. Because I mean, getting it down here is really difficult. But there's a lot of references to Latin America, and even the name like Gormando, like that sounds Latin too. Like, so you take any inspiration from my neck of the woods for your writing?
Well, I did have a couple of bad guys that were modeled off of Central American dictators with the high hats.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
And
I noticed that.
I've been fascinated by the mystery of lost cities in the jungle, like the lost city of the monkey god, which is a real place that was recently discovered in Honduras, I believe, and also the lost city of Z, which is supposed to exist in Brazil, but they've never found it. But the idea of coming across a lost civilization has fascinated me and many others for the longest time.
Very cool. Because I noticed that, like, I appreciated that a lot. Like, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
I'm glad you do.
You know what? With the Nexus design, I always got this cool like Hanna-Barbera like space vibe from it.
Space Ghost.
Yeah,
it's so well designed, but it's when I say simple, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean so straightforward, so simple, so perfect. You know,
it's iconic.
Yeah. The little
simple designs are the hardest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you do the original design for that, Mike, or was that?
I in a way I did, because when I conceived him, I imagined a costume with the lightning bolt coming over the shoulder and the ruby visors, and that was my addition to the costume. That was my contribution. Dude did everything else.
Cool. Yeah, these
are great. These are great caricatures, man. Kelsey is so good.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. Well, we're going to play this video, you guys. I'm sure people are going to be popping some links in. I'll pop some links in as well as we go along. Let me copy this link and let's watch this video. Hopefully we'll be able to hear the sound.
Yep.
Ancient evil, billions of years old, wages war on the universe. Entire star systems are vanishing without a trace, leaving devastation in their wake. Nexus, the intergalactic guardian of lost souls, must stop the unnameable terror and its expanding scourge of destruction. The totality of everything in existence will collapse upon itself if he fails. With the fate of the cosmos in the balance, Nexus must confront his most dangerous adversary yet. Can he save creation from total and certain destruction, or will darkness reign supreme? Find out in Nexus Scourge, the all-new epic sci-fi adventure from Eisner-winning co-creator Mike Barron, exploding with Kelsey Shannon's dynamic artwork. Order at Indiegogo.com.
So freaking good, man. This thing should be, this thing should be like 3 times this amount, you guys. So this is Nexus Scourge. This is Mike Barron bringing his, what'd you say? It was like 50. How old did you say it was?
43 years.
43. Okay, so we're going on 50 years. So Yeah, we're only 331 backers. He's doing a multi.
Oh no, we have over 700 backers across 3 platforms.
Across 3 platforms, yeah. But I mean, you should have that just on this platform.
Well,
So,
I agree.
you guys, let's get going. 14 days into it. Usually, that's about the halfway point for these campaigns. So this thing is gorgeous. You got 2 like killer veterans coming in and just knocking, grand slam home runs. The artwork's fantastic. The writing is guaranteed to be mind blowing. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to put a link in the description for it. Here we go. Nexus. There we go. It's right there. This is the link, you guys. Click on it and give a backing to it. We have the Unsatisfied. He is in.
Thank you, sir.
Lark says artwork looks great.
It is.
Yes, for sure. So, hey, I've been hogging all this up. Do you guys, Clint, Pedro, Todd, you guys got any questions for Mike?
I made my Latin American question. I'm satisfied.
How has it been doing the 3 campaigns on 3 different platforms? That's been working relatively smoothly for you guys?
Yeah. You can choose the platform you like. Some people have an attitude towards Kickstarter. Some have an attitude towards Indiegogo. Nobody has an attitude towards Fund My Comic.
No, I think,
which
Fund
was
My
created
Comics
by Luke Stone, especially for comic book creators. People wonder, well, do I have to read the entire continuity to enjoy this story? Absolutely not. Every story I write is designed to be enjoyed in and of itself for the complete story. You don't know the entire history, but it will grab you on the first page and drag you into the narrative to the exclusion of all else. I promise you, you're going to love this story. You're going to want to read it again. And the art is fantastic. It's memorable. And Kelsey and I are just getting geared up because
so I'm hearing more Nexus Adventures with the 2 of you.
Yeah, the next thing we're doing is the original 3 black and white issues, which is like 105 pages in color that Kelsey is coloring.
That's what I was going to ask. With such a long history of this character, have you used as add-ons like any of the back books, but you're going to just do a new campaign with earlier issues?
We could do that, and the dude has reissued the origin story, which is the origin we did for Dark Horse, a complete retelling of the first issue, but fresh. Every word is different. And he's reprinted it several times. And one of them was in this issue of Gormondo that he put out.
Oh, cool.
And I'm putting the link right now. This is Mike Barron's website, and you can get to all the different campaigns. So there's 3 different platforms. So if you're not really cool with Indiegogo or Kickstarter, you can go Fund My Comic. And what has Mike got? What is this?
This is the origin as reprinted in Gormondo, but you can also find it in comic shops if you're lucky. You ask for Nexus Origin on Dark Horse. I should mention that Chris Brawley did that video, and Chris is a professional videographer, which is why our videos are so good.
Yeah, the video looked amazing.
Yeah. I like the little animatics. It's weird because they at some point comics was like, we're gonna do motion comics, right? We're gonna do motion comics.
Yeah.
Like, no, animation exists, comics exist. Why do we have to do a half-ass hybrid? But it's perfect for these trailers, right? Like the limited movement and stuff. It's so freaking good.
And I should add that the Flexi disc will be included as a download with the Origin Reimagined.
Yes.
You all know about the Flexi disc, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us. Someone may not know.
It was the actors reading the dialogue for the 3rd issue of Nexus, the big black and white one, and they printed the disc right in the magazine. That's why it's called a Flexi disc. They used to do that all the time with rock and roll magazines in the 60s and 70s. They come with a plastic disc. You could take it out, you put it on your turntable and play it.
Yeah, the Wolf, it was a magazine size, right, Mike? If I'm remembering,
yes, it was
magazine size, and in the spine, it's kind of folded, and there's it's a black thin piece of plastic, And so it's folded, and then you can kind of rip it. It's perforated, and you can rip it off, and very carefully. And then you have this flat, like Flexi disc. I forgot what the name. And then you put it on your turntable when that was the thing, and you can listen to it. It was like, remember those Power records? I'm an older guy. They had like the Marvel and DC Power records, and it was kind of like, they would have the comic book, and then they would have kind of like an audio version of it, and so you'd get to hear like a dramatic reading of the comic book page, and then there would always be a beep, like beep. So that would be the time that you turn the page.
Turn the page.
Oh yeah,
turn the page. And I'll tell you, as a kid, kids today have so much. I was starving for entertainment like of this sort. I was just like craving it. So anything like that, I just ate up and I consumed. And then when that Nexus Flexi disc thing came out, I put that down. And I tell you, I think I left it out in the sun. It was like in my dad's garage and in California. And so the Flexi disc kind of got a little wobbly. Yeah, a little flexy. And so I remember, I think there was a trick of the day. Maybe you'll remember, Mike. How do you can put something on it, like a weight, and it will kind of flatten it out.
Well, I'm sure if you press it between two heavy weights, that would do it. I should mention that the Flexi disc and the Origin Remastered is dependent on the success of Scourge. So if you want to see that in full color, support Scourge.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you have the audio saved from all those years?
Well, I do have copies of issue number 3 somewhere in the basement with the Flexi disc intact.
Oh, nice.
So you're just going to record, like you're going to play the Flexi disc and then record it, or do you have the original audio like tapes?
No, I got the Flexi discs and I sent them to Chris, and Chris digitalized them so that they're now available over the internet. He turned the physical grooves in the record into pixels or whatever he does.
Send out QR codes. Yeah.
I was in a rock band in the late 70s, and so everything I recorded is all on tape, right? So at some point I got to get that stuff like transferred over to something digital so I can listen to it again. I have no players anymore. I don't have a tape machine, and I don't have a tape for music, and I don't have just a
art.
Well, I insist on physical product.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. What's that?
Is it a cassette tape? Oh, is it a cassette tape? Or
yes.
Is it some other? Okay, there's a cassette to MP3 doohickey you can get on Amazon. It's like $30, and it's basically like a Walkman. So you put the cassette in it, and through USB you connect it to your computer, and you can transfer it. Like, it's really inexpensive. Actually, you know what? Keep on talking. I'll put it on the.
Oh, that's cool, because I have something like that, but it plugs into an external player, and I don't have the external player anymore. But this one that you're talking about has the player built in to it.
Yeah,
cool. And also, I had a video at the time, so this was early MTV. So I have some video shot of my band as well, and that's all on like film stock. So. I don't know how to translate that over either. So there's a lot of stuff I got to do.
What kind of music was that, Art?
I played with a band called TKO. And so we played all the like Orange County clubs and Hollywood clubs. And so it was kind of, it was a little heavier rock and roll, but kind of tending to like more popular or like new wave kind of stuff, but not like we weren't all like gimmicky and stuff. It was more like we were just guys in Levi's and stuff like that. But it was kind of not new wavy. I guess maybe more. I think just pop, more like pop music, and with somewhat of an edge because the guitar player had a Gibson SG, and so that thing sounded pretty nasty. So there was a rock overtone to it. But it was
like I'd like it.
Yeah, because like the girls liked it. It was music that girls liked. Okay, so we got
for a record.
Yeah, we got a good group of people that would come watch us. And then later, when hair metal and metal started, I shared studio or like a studio space, not the same studio area with like Metallica, and so I started getting more into like metal and things like that. So one of the guitar players that played in Metallica, his name's James. He came over and we started jamming, and he wrote "Hit the Lights," the Metallica song. Yeah, and so we used to perform it as well. Hit the lights.
I'm a huge power pop fan.
Nice.
I listen to new music all the time. I get new records every week.
Yeah, you're like a pop. What do we call it? Like
pop.
Power pop. Yeah, there's some great power pop bands, and if you guys don't know, it's like what's it? Cherry. What is that band? Something Cherry, right?
There's the Raspberries,
Raspberries,
the Beatles, the Byrds, the Beach Boys, Big Star, Cheap Trick, Plume Souls.
Nice.
Hey, I'm early.
There he is.
Always early. Never.
Hey, what's up, Kelsey?
I know we're starting at 8, so I thought I'd get here a little early. Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing great, man.
Yeah. So we were just heaping a bunch of praise on your work. The book could not look any better, my friend.
I expect nothing less, but thank you.
Yourself?
Yes.
Hey, Kelsey, do you find like the right character, the right IP, the right story can just kind of bring the best of you out?
I don't know any other thing to bring out of me but the best. So that's just comes with whatever I do. No. I mean, what do you mean? Like, do I find that like working on Nexus do better than on like Batman or something? Or like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah, like you find more inspiration, like for some reason, like it's just like you're connecting with the material more. It's bringing out like new ideas, things that you've never done before.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly getting to work on Nexus with Mike is great because I mean, I'm already love the character. I'm already well versed in like the lore of it and the stories. I'm already a big fan of Mike's art, or writing. So it's like it's definitely I don't know. It's definitely like easier to get into the mode of it, and. I enjoy it. It's not like doing something you don't like just doing like a work for hire gig that you don't care about. Yeah, it gets hard to kind of bring yourself to the table to do it. But this, I mean, honestly, this stuff is like, I can't think of anything I'd rather do unless I created Nexus. Mike, sign it over to me. Let me have it.
I do want to ask you, so is it a 50-50 with you and Steve? Mike, or how's like
it is? We agreed that we would each pursue our own Nexus projects wherever they may take us. The dude is doing his, and I'm doing mine.
I remember working at Extreme Studios, and I think Steve was doing some kind of like Youngblood animation trailer or something like that. Like Rob had hired him because Steve,
oh really? Oh man, I got to see that.
To me, I'll ask him about that.
Yeah, he loves animation.
I know he does. He animated this Nexus clip, 2 minutes worth of Nexus. He worked on it for years, and it's very smooth. It's not a coherent story. It's a series of vignettes, but the animation is very cool. You can probably find that on the internet.
Oh, nice. I'd like to see that.
It's fun. I'm coming into my beard.
Yeah, my only Steve Root story is I used to live in the South Bay, so I lived in Manhattan Beach. My roommate was John Moore. He's a writer. He works with Howard Chaykin a lot. And so we went out on the town because we lived like a block from the beach, man. And so we just partied like crazy. And I just remember Steve not being able to make it home and him crashing at the apartment. And I just remember I probably woke up really, really late, but he was gone. And I thought I imagined the whole evening.
Whoa.
Jeez, how much did I drink?
Yeah.
Oh, in those days, Kelsey, there was no limit.
I could have sworn there was the dude here.
Yeah. And then I asked John, and I was like, John, did Steve Root hang out with us last night? He goes, yeah.
That's funny. I'll remind him of that.
Yeah,
It's a good night when you have to double check who is with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if he worked on a Youngblood cartoon, I have to see this. I truly
that'd
have
be
got
wild.
to see this.
I
I've
want.
never heard of it.
I'm trying
News
to
to me.
remember how much of it got done, because I'm not sure if there were two different versions, like Steve was doing some kind of trailer and there was limited, or if both of these were the same project. Anyway, I remember seeing like stills from it, like animation cells, and I remember seeing like an animatic of and it was kind of like an opening trailer, kind of like Thundercats. You know how there's all like them jumping out of, like ships and coming right at the camera and stuff like that. And I remember one Christmas, Rob Liefeld gave me one of those cells. He gave it to me, just gave it to me. And it was Die Hard. It was a cool Die Hard shot, and I got it somewhere here in storage. But yeah, I maybe I imagined it like I did in the Steve Rude story.
Do you still talk with Rob?
Yeah, periodically. I think
Maybe he's still got it, like in the Liefeld archives or something. You know?
Yeah, you know what? I'll bring that up and see, because he should do that on a Robservation or something. Yeah. And you talk about success, man. He's got that new Deadpool movie coming up.
Yeah.
Ask him if he wants to do a cover for Nexus.
Poor guy.
It's hard to tell if Rob's excited about Deadpool or not.
Yeah, I asked Rob if he'd do a black and white cover for me, and he said sure, no problem.
Oh, that's a no.
That's the last time you heard from him.
Yeah, 2-3 years later, hey Rob, you don't want to be that guy, right? You don't want to be that guy who's like, how's that cover coming?
Calling me the favorite stuff, yes.
Yeah. But I did talk to him, and he said he's kind of because he admired that me and my wife left California and moved to Texas, and I think he's kind of fed up with California too. And he said that maybe once his kids graduate, that he'll think of moving, but he doesn't want to move them before they graduate and all that other stuff. So I don't think Rob will ever move, because he is so like Orange County, like Fullerton, that area. He's like a celebrity, like everywhere he goes, like, oh, you're that guy. Yeah.
He's been in that same house for like 40 years or something. How long has he been there?
Yeah, for a while. I don't think I've seen this house, but I think it's one of the he had it built or something. But yeah, the house before that for sure. Yeah.
You think they still go like, you're that guy from that Levi's commercial?
I don't think very many people are saying that. At least young people, maybe people our age are saying that.
That got me into comics, was that damn commercial.
Yeah, exactly. That Levi's commercial. Whoa.
Only 50-year-old comic book fans and older said the Levi's commercial.
Yeah.
Nobody younger than that says it.
Yeah, let's show off this campaign again, because let's let everybody know why we're here and what is going down. So you guys, there's this new book, and it is, let me hit refresh real quick. So we're at 533, 331 backers. Oh, come on, you guys, come on. So this is the new book, Nexus Scourge, and it's drawn by the great Kelsey Shannon, and the creator himself is coming back to the property, and that is Mike Barron. And you guys check this artwork out.
The art T.
What was that? You roboted.
Oh, that art T.
Oh no!
Everything is under control.
I am a robot.
By the way, Kelsey, we've already commented on the Stairway to Nowhere, or to the Universe. Maybe this is more the Universe, yeah.
Well, I don't remember how it was in the script, but like they were zooming through and flying through the space and stuff. I thought, what if the whole room was like, a TV screen, basically, like a hologram room, but you still see the staircase kind of going into nothingness. I don't know. It came out pretty good. I think I got lucky with
I
that
love
one.
it.
Very
I
cool
love it.
visual.
I may write a story around that staircase.
That's all these ideas spring to life, man.
That's what we do.
Hey, Mike, I got a title for it, like Stairway to the Universe.
That's cool.
Mm.
You know, one of the Chrono books, I called it Potholes in the Highway of, what was it? It was Potholes in the Highway of the Universe or something like that.
Jesus Christ! Wow.
Filling potholes in the universe or something like that, because they're construction guys. Anyway, oh, there it is again. There's the stairway.
I got a lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah,
it's probably a 3D model, but I honestly can't remember. I can't imagine trying to draw a staircase like that from scratch, but maybe I did. I don't remember.
Come on, Kelsey. You wouldn't do such a thing, would you?
Absolutely, I would. I'd do anything to get the damn book done. I'll do whatever it takes.
There
There are no shortcuts here. I can't see any shortcuts.
I mean, honestly, if you want the truth, it takes far longer to find appropriate materials to like draw from than it does to just do it. So 9 times out of 10, I just do it. You know,
it's not 3D. It doesn't really spiral down. It spirals to the side.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be accomplished in 3D, but that's like a lot of work too. So.
Yeah, and I don't think I can. Maybe it could have been a photograph. Maybe like a hotel had a stairway like that. But again, I can't think of it. I'm sure if you zoom in, it probably looks all crappy. So maybe it's like
it looks awesome though. And it works in the scene.
An ancient evil, billions of years old, wages war on the universe. Entire star systems are vanishing without a trace, leaving devastation in their wake. Nexus, the intergalactic guardian of lost souls, must stop the unnameable terror and its expanding scourge of destruction. The totality of everything in existence will collapse upon itself if he fails. With the fate of the cosmos in the balance, Nexus must confront his most dangerous adversary yet. Can he save creation from total and certain destruction, or will darkness reign supreme? Find out in Nexus Scourge, the all-new epic sci-fi adventure from Eisner-winning co-creator Mike Barron, exploding with Kelsey Shannon's dynamic artwork. Order at Indiegogo.com.
Exploding all over this thing.
Dude, I have 2 questions on this trailer.
Yeah.
One is a comment and the other is a question. Dude, the fact that you can say so much with so little, just the scope of that Save My Baby sequence. It's saying so much with just a little, like, it's just like gives you the scope of, dude, this is like world ending.
That's an intense scene, yeah.
That is the theme of the story.
Yeah. And
it's a great, just one single moment, one visual says it all.
Yeah, and the other one is the final piece of animation. Did you do that, Kelsey?
Yeah, that little bit at the end.
Yeah,
that was me. And I did. Yeah. I still didn't do it all on 1s or 2s. I still skipping around in there. I know.
No. I'm not bashing you. Like one day, I'm gonna convince you to use a frame rate. Because all the poses are there, man. Like that's like as I look at it, and all the poses are there. You only need like how to understand timing to place it, and it would be so smooth, man.
Yeah, we need to do another animation episode. We can go over it. Yeah.
Did I mention what the story was about? Did I discuss that?
Well, let me plug your site real quick, and then we'll get into that. So
let's get into that.
There's Mike Barron comics.com and
BarronComics.com.
Yeah.
Just
BarronComics.com. If you click on that, there's 3 different campaigns. So there's different platforms. So there's a Fund My Comic, there's a Kickstarter, and there's Indiegogo. So click on one of those, go over there and back one of, I don't know, this is badass comic, man. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, getting these 2 guys together to do a next project is absolutely phenomenal. So go there, support Nexus Scourge. So what's going on, Mike? Story?
Well, the story is about an ancient evil that predates civilization. and has been asleep for millennia, more than millennia, a billion years, and it wakes. And it hates civilization. And civilization gives it the hives, you might say, and it can fuel civilization over any distance that there is. So it starts at the fringe of the galaxy, destroying civilizations. And the only way that people in the center of the galaxy know it is when all the lights go off and the transmissions stop. But it could take 1,000,000 years for those lights and transmissions to reach the center of the galaxy. The only way to have instantaneous interstellar communication is via telepathy, and that's where the heads come in. But it starts at the fringe of the galaxy, and it starts working its way towards the center, wiping out one civilization after another. It doesn't care if it's human, biped, lizard, or single cells. It's destroying all civilization. And if it succeeds, there'll be no life left. There'll be no galaxy. There'll be no stars. It will be as if the Big Bang never happened.
Wow.
I don't know about you guys, but I also hate civilization when I wake up in the morning. So
all I know is when Mike was describing that, I shit my pants because I'm scared to death.
I mean, like the scope of this story, like what's higher? Like I don't know. This is
it's gonna be hard to top. It's gonna be hard to top. But the success of our subsequent projects depends to a degree on the success of Scourge. And Scourge is the best Nexus story I've done in 30 years.
Oh, dude.
So if you're familiar with the book, you're going to love this story. I guarantee it. It will surprise and delight you. There's not a wasted word or a wasted picture in it.
Mike, is it a little bit like the Nothing from the Never-Ending Story?
I don't know. Has Mike ever seen that?
I'm forming a class action suit against the
Never-Ending Story.
I hear the story never really ends. It just keeps going.
Yeah, that's what the movie ends. And that's why we're suing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I see no Gomork, I see Gormando.
So we did have a question in the chat that came from Unsatisfied. And Mike, you just said that this was one of your favorite stories to do. But according to this question, what was the story or the project you're the most satisfied with?
It's usually the one I most recently wrote, which is one of the bright spots in my life, is I found that I was getting better as a writer. Others may disagree. But I don't let anything out of the house unless it's a home run these days. And my string of crowdfunded books, beginning with Florida Man, I think speak for themselves. If you saw Bronze Star or the latest Florida Man, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm very pleased to be in this place. A lot of writers, especially young writers, they worry, oh, is this any good? Is anybody else going to like this? And I felt about that at a certain time many years ago. But when you understand story, and story encompasses a great many different things, but when you understand it, you don't make a misstep.
Mm-hmm. And you understand, like we talked earlier, like how limited comic book storytelling really is. There's like 6 panels, usually tops on a page. And before you know it, you could be using 22 pages and not really have much of a story at all. So you really have to know what to put in and what not to put in. I remember
that's part of the fun, honestly.
Yeah, an interview with Frank Miller, and if you look at Frank's early work, anyways, I don't look at anything new. It's always just the heightened moment. It's always the heightened moments, right? So you don't show the guy like pushing the elevator button. You don't show him getting in the elevator. You don't show all that stuff. You just kind of show him already up on the second floor. Doing what he's going to do. And you can do that if you want to get nuanced, but usually comics are more about those big beats, the big moments. It's kind of like the How to Draw the Marvel Way, where there's that imagery of the guy throwing the punch. It's like, okay, better, good, great, so it's the most exaggerated pose, which is the one that gets in there. And I think this comic book storytelling is that way at its best. I think at its finest is those moments where you can kind of cut through all the kind of nuance or BS and only get those heightened moments, so then the reader's always getting just the best stuff in the story.
For me, every bit of the story has to be entertaining. Every bit. There can be no places where it seems as if the writer is treading water or thinking of what to say. And if you're going to use dialogue, use it to characterize and make it fresh.
Yeah, I like working with Mike because, like, a lot of times, like newer storytelling, even the way I tend to construct a story for myself, there's a lot of moment-to-moment stuff. But the way he does it, it's kind of like the way you're talking about it, where there's like whole beats, and you're communicating a lot more information in a lot less space. And I like that a lot, and it's trickier than you think, but Mike's a pro. So
one of my favorite things is like Frank Miller's Year One. He figured out how to construct 4 issues and move through a year. So and also you only get the heightened moments of that month or that time of the year, and then it goes through a full year, and there's no filler. You know what I mean? Like, it's all those big, awesome beats, and he figured out a format to do just that, as an exercise. And I love that stuff. Just economy of storytelling.
It can be tricky when we're going from Headworld to Lum to like all these other islands to all these other places in the span of like a page or two, and you're like, come on, Mike, give me like a breeze, a nice little moment to take a breath. But no, this story is like going all over the place.
A blank panel for you in the next book, Kelsey, and it'll say, Kelsey, take your breath here.
Take a breath right here. This is
listen, I'm going to turn this over to Kelsey to carry the ball on from now on. Art, I want to thank you for having me on.
Hey,
guys, it was great seeing you.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take care.
Awesome, Mike. Take care, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Yeah.
So now, Kelsey, you get to talk shit about Mike now. So
all right,
give us the juice. Come on.
How did you and Mike kind of connect for this story? That I'd be kind of interested to hear that.
For half a second, I just forgot, but then I remembered that Richard Meyer was a huge Nexus fan, and he communicated with Mike about maybe doing Nexus crowdfunding, or Mike communicated with him, either one. I'd done a lot of work with Richard, so he reached out to me, and of course I was like, yes, like before even you want to draw Nexus, yes. Yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. So then getting to work off it. I remember, I did kind of meet him a long time ago, sort of. I think I had his email or something, and I wrote him because I was like, I really wanted to work on a space opera or something, and I couldn't think of anybody that would be better for it. So I reached out to him. I was like, you got any interest in doing like a space opera or something? Not even thinking that he'd done years and years of Nexus, right? Like He's already done the space opera. And he's like, sure, here, I'll send you a script. And he sent me a script of some, what was it? It's like the Lost City of Z kind of thing, where it's a guy going out into the jungle. And I'm like, this is about as far from space opera as you can get. Yeah. But I love that. I love that he did that. And I was like, all right, I like this guy.
He was actually talking about Lost City of Z, I think, before you showed up here, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's a great. I'd still like to do that story. I don't know if he's got any plans for it, but it's a fun little story he wrote. Yeah.
Yeah, I always look at like these cosmic stories as like it's a double-edged sword, because there's like part of it where you go, it's going to be easy because it's just black with stars, right? And then little orbs, for planets and stuff.
Oh no, it's so much more.
Yeah,
that's your little establishing shot. Then you got
right. And then
people and aliens,
and an alien race,
spaceships, and crazy buildings. Even the wine glass has to be something crazy looking. Whatever.
Yeah. I was literally roughing out a page for Pirate Queen where it was establishing shot, the little circles for planets, then you zoom into the planet, then you zoom into the space city, then you zoom into one of the streets, and all the kind of funky, like exactly what you guys are just talking about.
Yeah.
But they're fun. They're fun.
It always sounds easy. I mean, it's like, what I did, one of the first books I did in the crowdfunding space was that Jungle Comics with Chuck Dixon. And I was thinking, oh yeah, I can have like Jungle Babe, Jungle. It's the same thing every page. It'll be easy. Oh no. I had to research like the jungle garb that people wear, a different foliage, so it's not just my made up leaves all the time. I can do some variety of. It was like way complicated. Rope bridges. How does a rope bridge work? And I had to look that up. It was like so. I have yet to find the easy game, in comics. If you're doing it right, it's going to be difficult, but worth it.
Research.
But worth it. Yeah.
Well, the research, like you were talking earlier, I get frustrated too because you're looking, and then all of a sudden, you notice the time, and you're like, I've been looking for a rope bridge for an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then at some point, like for me, I always go, well, I got enough research. I know it enough. You know what I mean? Because you see knots and you see different things, and you go, okay, I can BS this. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I mean, there's
You've got enough information. Like you've looked at different knots and different ideas. It's not exactly what you want, but at least you have like a little bit of an education and knowledge of how.
Right. Well, that's what I was getting at earlier when I was joking around about using 3Ds or whatever. It's like in the end, you spend an hour looking for exactly the thing you want, and it just doesn't exist. So at some point, like when I was using it a lot at one time for just for scale, and I just put like a box there. I'm like, okay, that's car. Now just draw the car in that box so that the proportion is right with the the boxes that represent buildings. That's far easier to deal with than trying to find exactly the right thing you're looking for. And ultimately, just learning how to draw the damn thing is way better.
Yeah. So. And you know what? One thing I dislike about comics is the repetitive nature. So you drew that rope bridge once, but guess what? It's in every panel for the next 3 pages.
In different angles. Yeah.
Different angles, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I had to draw it like ripping apart and all the wires slapping around and everything. And it was like, how the hell am I? And then I just popped in Raiders. Or no, it was Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom, yeah.
Everything you need in those movies. Yeah. Jungle, rope bridges, all that stuff. Yeah.
That was my Bible.
Are you a Phantom fan? Like
no, well, I mean, I'm not that familiar with him. The purple guy, right?
Yeah. I think
he's not a fan.
Dynamite, And you know what? It's weird because that character is huge in every country but America. Like like people in America know a little bit about the Phantom, but it's huge in most countries.
I was a big Shadow fan, but I don't know where. Like, is it an American book or is it from another country?
It was a Sunday Funnies. I think it originated.
Oh, okay.
And,
the Phantom was huge in Australia, but not in America. Like,
okay, not
here. Yeah, here we're not a fan. We're not a fan of the Phantom. We have this guy who was dressed like a Hindu magician called Kaliman. That guy was awesome, and like it was all over. But I don't know if you know him.
No.
You want to see a picture of him? Let me just.
Yeah.
Sure.
But anyways, like the Phantom
movie.
He would slam evil. So he had 2 rings. So if he punched you one, it was like a warning. So if people saw that, like that mark on you, he'd like mark you. You knew that guy was like a traitor or just an a-hole, right? Yeah. And then I think the skull, didn't that condemn them? Like if he punches you with the skull ring, then it's like, you're full on in deep shit.
He was the first costume superheroes.
Yeah.
It was set, like, I mean, I know all my knowledge of the Phantom was from that Billy Zane movie in the early 90s. Like,
I remember the commercials for that. I never did see the movie.
The commercial was like the tagline was "Slam Evil."
Yeah, they tried to stay pretty true to the comics, but yeah, it's
well, like another one I'm not that familiar with, but I know him visually is the Man of Bronze or whatever. What's his name?
Doc Savage.
Doc Savage. I mean, on paper, the name, the look, everything is fantastic, but I've never read a single Doc Savage book.
I did with Howard Porter. I did a year run on Doc Savage, and I love those pulp characters. So it's neat to have like some of that, in your your history.
Are those still good to read? Those old pulp books? Because I love to read old novels. Like I read mostly like old sci-fi novels and stuff. So like from the 50s and 60s, somebody got me a box that they got from a bookstore of just old sci-fi novels, and they're fascinating. And so many of them are written by guys that wrote the old Star Trek shows. So there are a lot of great ideas in those.
Yeah, my mom was cool. Like she read the Doc Savage. She read Robert E. Howard. She read, oh my gosh, like all like the cool stuff. Who was the tattooed man? Ray Bradbury. She read Bradbury. She read Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Mars
like
stuff.
Warlord of Mars and stuff. Like all that stuff was around. And then I started getting into like the Jules Verne stuff when I was a kid, all that adventure stuff, and basically.
I was the biggest fan of the Disney 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh yeah,
it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And a friend of mine got me the book. This really great. It's up on my shelf somewhere. It's really great, like leather bound, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. And he's like, you got to read this. So I start reading it, and it's like chapters of descriptions of fish. I mean, I'm like, where's the submarine come in? It's just describing to me sea life, and I was like, I couldn't keep going. Yeah. So
that's how Dune was for me when I was like, oh God, come on! I don't care about the politics.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was I don't know if you guys had this, but when you get a bomb threat in like elementary school, they take all the kids out of the school and bring you over to the church, and you'd all sit there and watch a movie. It was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh wow!
So
dude, what era did you grow up in?
I was about to say. I've never had a bomb threat except for the duck and cover one. Where you got to get under the table.
What was that called? It was called the something cafe, right? The nuclear cafe or something like that.
I don't know.
It was the atomic cafe.
Atomic, yeah.
Yeah, atomic.
Those desks made of lead, they protect you.
They are. I'm sharing like the peak of what was Mexican comics.
Oh yeah. I feel like I have seen this guy.
Yeah, Calimán, el hombre increíble. So yeah, that was. You get that. You get a Native American called Águila Solitaria, which is like Lonely Eagle, and a black slave comic called Fire, which was very racist.
Is that South American or Indian?
Those are the best kind.
Mexican. Yeah, very racist. I loved it.
Those were innocent times, right? Everybody meant well.
I bought one of those little Nemo in Slumberland.
Yeah, in Slumberland,
And holy crap, some of those adventures and the people.
Yeah.
There's some really. I hesitate calling it racist, but I guess maybe racially insensitive by today's standards.
Toneless.
Well, yeah, definitely by today's standards. But I mean, there's like, if you look at some of those old cartoons where they have the racial stereotype of the black man or whatever. But you look at the white guy, and he looks like an idiot yokel who's like, and he looks like an idiot too. It's like it's just caricature.
They made fun of everything. It wasn't mean spirited at one specific thing. It was.
I'm sure some of it was, but
it was like to make fun of everything though. That's what cartoons were.
Yeah. I think those South Park guys have the best excuse, right? They just go, "Hey, we're not making fun of you. We make fun of everybody." We're not racist. We're not hateful. We're not anything. Everything is on the on target. We're going to make fun of everything eventually.
I haven't seen that in a while, but I've been kind of dying to because I know it's got to be good right now, right? Because there's just so much stupid shit.
So much, yeah. They did one. I don't know.
Material.
The Wolf probably knows better, or Clint, but I think they did one on what's her name? Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy. That was
and that they said something make it female and gay or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Turn her into a chick and make her gay. Like everybody was saying that for about like 3 weeks.
Hey, Art, I'm gonna get the channel in trouble, I think, but I have a cover for Fuego.
I tried to add it, but it wouldn't go. It didn't want to go.
Oh man. Well, he's like a Martian. That's not like
it's horrible. Like,
yeah, he looks green.
He's a Star Trek guy.
He's so black.
That's the brother. That's the brother of the chick that Kirk slept with in the original Star Trek. Green.
But yeah, like
that's the face he made when he saw them in bed together.
Yeah, he's like, Susan.
What? Dude, it was
Get
like,
out of here. I got some
like,
words for Kirk.
Like I was like 8 when I found out that comic book, and it's like very like dark and heavy. I mean, I'm not, no pun intended with the dark, but it was like about a slave rebellion, and dude, like people are dying by machete, and I was like, I'm 8 years old, and it's like, oh, fuck, this is so cool.
You loved it too, didn't you? It was good.
I loved it.
Good drama. Good drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say for a while there, Pedro, while you were talking, Clint was backing up. He was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the show. He didn't want to be in the
No, but I know what he means, because like in my cartoons back when I was a kid, people died. I mean, there was like serious business in cartoons when I was a kid.
Dude, remember?
Yeah, they were dropping pianos on people's heads.
Yeah. Yeah, but not only that, dude. Like, do you remember Battle of the Planets, right?
Yeah, people died in those, man.
People died in that show. Yeah, like the people like gunned
Robotech.
Down, yeah,
they make your favorite character Roy Fokker, and then they just take him away from you.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? I'm still scarred by that.
That's storytelling.
You ever see Watership Down?
Dude.
Nobody was safe in that. No rabbit was safe.
Nah, dude. That was a scaring movie, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Fox and the Hound.
The cartoons for kids back in the day were made for men, you know, not for kids.
Well, in the Transformers movie.
Oh my God!
I don't know any of these books. You guys know any of these books? These 1930s racist comics like Yellow Claw, Blackface comics, and what is that? Pollock comics.
Well, Yellow Claw. Marvel brought them back when they brought Captain America back, because there's some like 1940s comics that were Marvel in that first Captain America age before it turned into 1960s stuff, that they used like Yellow Claw as the bad guy in those. I remember seeing like covers and stuff on.
Kind of a cool name, honestly.
Well, and
anything with colors in it is a cool name.
Yeah.
Green, purple, black, yellow. Green was probably overused, though. Green is probably the overused color, right? Green
Did
Arrow.
Shannon kill people at Johnny Quest?
Green Hornet.
Maybe you just name them the red, yellow. You know, like just do it with colors now.
And then it's like, why didn't you just call yourself Orange?
Yeah,
that would be the joke.
The orange,
who was the
blood orange.
What super was he a superhero or supervillain that had orange in his name?
Oh,
I'll give you a hint. Jim Aparo.
He had orange in his name?
Yeah.
Was it the DC stuff?
DC, and that's another hint.
Orange.
Think Vietnam.
Agent Orange?
Agent Orange.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Agent Orange.
When you said orange and superhero, I'm like, that's popped into my head immediately.
Dude,
that's a perfect name.
Superhero? I don't.
No, he was a super villain.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Outsiders, I think.
Now, so Kelsey, something stood out to me on Nexus, and that was the kind of the space looking dimensional stuff. And if anybody that knows me going back to being on shows, I'm a Quasar fan.
Oh,
written by Mark Grainwall, and I think Paul Ryan did some of that illustration. But a lot of that had interdimensional, very space. If they weren't someplace on on Saturn or Jupiter, they were also out in the middle of a different dimension. And so there was little, just really crazy stuff like the spiral staircase. And I guess you also say that Silver Surfer did some of that too. Is more of that in the pages of Nexus. That kind of
Oh yeah, that actually
right.
goes through all of our stuff, honestly. And the way he writes it in the script is so perfect because I know exactly what he means, and he only has to say he enters Ditko space.
Ditko space, okay, yeah.
And immediately I know what he's talking about. It's
Oh,
got to
yeah.
have like weird shapes and holes and strange planets and all kinds of psychedelic kind of stuff. And I basically just get to do my own sort of Ditko space, and I even do the I don't know how consistent I am, but what I try to do is I'll do the Kirby dots in Ditko space, but not in regular space. I'll do regular space just black with stars, or like a nebula or something. But Ditko space, I go full comic book. I got Kirby crackle. I got, weird, shapes that I don't know. Just it's hard to describe Ditko space.
Abstract astral.
Yeah. But I mean, Ditko did that with Doctor Strange. He did it with like so much stuff. So it was it's ingrained in my comic book psyche. So it also saves him a lot of typing, to have to describe all that. Yeah, I know exactly what he means.
That's cool.
Paul Ryan must have obviously. I mean, there's a lot of Ditko fans out there. So Paul Ryan, I'm wondering if he drew from Ditko space as well for that stuff you're talking about. Was it Paul Ryan? Is that what you said?
Paul Ryan and Danny Bulanati.
Yeah.
Danny Bulanati, the inker.
Yeah.
Hey,
other artist
real quick, I just put in a link to Nexus Scourge.
On my comic. Thank you.
Yeah, my comic. So you guys click on that. Go check it out. You like what you see? Back a book tonight.
Yeah. Guys, I found another cover for Fuego, but I can't share it.
We're gonna be lucky not to get struck down after the first cover page.
I think that cover is called "Where the White Women At?" And it's just whoa. I'm gonna make a show on Fuego by myself, dude. This is just insane.
Hey, do you guys remember this in the 80s?
Black Man in Orange.
Something crime fighting dude. I guess this never happened. This is just in Apex's head. Black Man and Orange.
No, he dreamt. He dreamt of it. Yeah,
he dreamt
of it.
Yeah.
Black Man and Orange. But I mean, Orange should be like a Filipino or Malay, like one of the darker Asians. Yeah.
Don't just put that stuff out there, Apex. Somebody's gonna steal that from you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. Dude.
You gotta protect those ideas.
Remember when you were a kid though, and somebody go, "That's a black man," or "That's a yellow man," or "That's the red man," and then you go, I don't see it. Like it's not.
I never understoed that.
It's not black. It's not red. It's not yellow.
Well, I mean, I come from rednecks, and I found out that's not. It was used as a derogatory term, but it was actually a good thing because they were miners that wore red scarves. So these were hard-working men, rednecks. So now I hold that in pride. Yeah, I'm a redneck.
I always thought it was a hardworking man, but I thought it was because their necks were exposed to the sun all the time.
No, they wore red scarves, I think. I think they were maybe, I don't know if it was coal miners or something. I can't remember the story now.
They couldn't get red from the sun. Or if it was a scarf and they were working coal mines, they could probably use it as like a little bit of a respirator. Or
to not get black lung,
You're still going to get black lung, but my dad worked with asbestos. He worked on naval war vessels and stuff like that. And in the day, man, those guys were not wearing respirators and shit. No.
I had a piece of the Berlin Wall for a while, and that's supposed to be like nothing but asbestos.
Oh, nice.
Maybe keep it in the garage.
Yeah. No.
So does
don't have any more.
Get that hard? Can it get that hard like a rock?
I guess I don't understand. Maybe it's in the concrete of it. Maybe
I mean they used asbestos for everything back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean, there was like schools that they had to gut because there's so much asbestos in them.
Maybe it's like a filler or something, you know?
Yeah, because it's flame resistant. That's the thing. That's why they use it everywhere.
Okay.
So,
it's a flame retardant. But I was like, why would you put a flame retardant in a rock? In concrete? Like,
maybe you want that. You want that wall to last.
I don't know. Hey, what? How did you get
Longer than the people because it killed everybody around it. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you get this rock, and why did you have it?
It was my stepdad. I don't know where he got it. Ordered it online. Well, no, this was before online. So now I don't. I honestly don't know.
I remember when they knocked it down, like it was a big thing on MTV and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They were selling pieces of the wall.
I think they were selling pieces on TV and like have a commercial and right to the PO box with the check and we'll send you a piece of the Berlin Wall. I kind of remember that.
You could tell it was the real deal though, because it looked exact. It even had a little bit of graffiti. It was about like this big, and it was it just had like a little bit of a graffiti on it, but it was like that gray. I don't know. It felt aged. I don't know. For some reason or another, it just felt right. Like it didn't feel like a scam. I think it was an actual piece of the wall.
Can you imagine what that would cost to ship it? Ship a rock.
Yeah, no kidding.
It cost you $100 to ship that sucker.
Well, you know, these are $1990 or however whenever that was.
80, early 80s.
When it fell, I thought it fell in like
it was Ronald Reagan and
89, right?
Wall.
89.
Am I remembering it wrong or?
Well, no, when they finally like tore it down though, I remember watching that on TV.
Yeah, but it would have been early 80s MTV. I remember, the national news covered it. Yeah, I don't remember I suppose we can look it up real quick, but yeah.
What was it?
1989, yeah.
I'm leaning
okay.
88. Well, there you
I
go.
thought it was earlier 80s, but 89 sounds about right.
Yeah, Batman was in theaters. So. That seems about right because I would have had. That would have been the time where I had MTV around 1989, 1990. That's when it was getting easier to get back then.
I remember Mr. Gorbachev turned down that wall. Yeah, I remember that line.
Bush 41. But that was...
Yeah, something else, man.
Yeah. You know, like when you looked forward to entertainment and TV was good. You could tune in and you could find something you were interested in. Music was good. What happened, Kelsey? What happened?
I'm sorry. It's my fault.
He did it.
No, I mean, I don't know. It just depends on your perspective because I dig a lot and I still find good stuff. But it's not I think the big part of it is just that popular culture is changing. And I think for one thing, we're going as a culture, like not just Americans, I think worldwide, we're going, it's like, I think we're all getting ants in our pants and we don't, or at least, and I feel this way a little bit. I'm kind of tired of passive entertainment and I like active entertainment. I think it's why video games are good. I'm seeing a lot more people going outside, travel videos and whatnot. I'm seeing people travel the world and do things and get active in different kinds of ways. So like I really think comics to me are still an active entertainment because it requires you to read, use your brain to put things together. It's not like the TV where you're just sitting there just absorbing information, you know. But I don't know because YouTube and all that's bigger than ever, right? So people obviously are. I could be wrong.
There's something like I just love YouTube and
I do too.
There's this, it's called Bushmen, and they build like these cabins out in like storms, like it's the middle of winter, right? And these guys, they just go out there. Usually they have a dog with them, and they just start like getting scrap wood, like trees and stuff, and they start cleaning them up, and they start making these log cabins right out in the middle of a snowstorm, right?
I love that.
These things, and it's like, holy shit, man! One, I would love to do that, but only if I had a hotel to go to in the like those Survivor. You hear about those Survivor things, like they were only on film for like X amount of hours, and then into a hotel somewhere. Yeah, if I could do that, but man, some of those dudes are crazy.
I love the guys from like I think it's either the Philippines or like Guam or something like that. You'll see these guys go out there with a stick, and then they're making like a full mansion with a pool out of dirt.
Yeah, the water running around it, and they're making everything out of mud and rocks.
I know it's probably fake, but it's still great. I
Wait
love
a minute. A guy in his room says it's fake.
That's not fake. That's how I built my house.
It's all visual, yeah. And then there's this woman in the Philippines or something, and she just makes all this crazy shit out of bamboo. Like she made a multi-story like house out of bamboo with a kid on her back. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's fake. It's only fake in that it's not. They make it seem like she's doing it all in one go in one day. Yeah. It's probably several days, and she's probably got help. They probably got a ride to and from places, but who knows? I mean, it's still impressive.
So,
they build bamboo routers there. Yeah.
To contemplate a little bit of your question, Art, on what's going on with the culture, it's kind of I'm going to coin a term right now: electronic tribalism, because we used to have a culture. And you either watch channel 4, 5, or 8, or maybe you go over 21 and 33 if you were a younger person and you wanted to watch your cartoons. And otherwise, everybody was watching what was going on that night on Falcon Crest. And when you went, right?
Yeah,
I didn't say Dallas, right? Because who shot Dallas?
Dynasty,
which was a huge thing. Everybody knew. And then when there was a mini series, right? When there was a mini series that came on, like
Shogun.
Yeah,
that rocked when I remember seeing that as a kid.
And so everyone watched Shogun, or everyone watched V, or everyone watched
V.
Roots.
The day after.
North and South. Roots. Shaka Zulu.
So we know these things, and they're ingrained into us, and it was all across the culture, and everyone was watching one of those two things. And so now you have Pontificators on YouTube, and you've got other channels going on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. So everyone now has a niche, and it's one group of particular culture of people that wear purple shirts or have blue hair or whatever, or like comic books. And so and no one, the guy next door to me has no idea what I'm doing. And so my tribe is now you guys, and we're scattered everywhere. And so the culture is fragmented instead of being this one thing across an entire nation or the world, now even the world, because I can now have part of my tribe right here on Pontificators also contacting someone in Japan, right? And so we now have electronic tribalism where everybody has their own particular small group while we live in the greater society. And of course, that's what's going on now, because I don't even have to go to the movies nowadays, which leads into the article that we had selected. I don't got to go to the movies. I can do whatever I want when I want to with any particular gaming. You talk about being an active person, right? You can actively participate in playing an online game, and there you have different clans of people that are constantly then doing that, and you're on the chat while you're playing, and you're talking about all these things, and you're forming your mind and your culture right within that group. And that's
the thing is, there's not culture like there used to be. Like there was like American culture, Chinese culture. It's like there's a global homogenization of the world. So it is tribal in this, but it's a bigger tribe. It's not like your little tribe within your city or your state or your country. It's bigger than that. It's like borders kind of are more of an illusion than reality anymore.
Well, it's eradicated trends as well. Like there's no more trends. You can literally go out to do your bank and go grocery shopping and total cosplay if you want. Nobody cares.
I don't like the word tribes though, because there are no spears in both. So it's just like support group maybe.
Tribe like Larry Stoneman tribe. That's
it's like a support group.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah,
blankets, security blankets everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I feel you on that. That definitely like, and I could feel it like in just comics. But if you go to look at gamers, like there's all these little sects of gamers or little sects of gun enthusiasts or tennis shoe sneaker pimps or sneaker freaks, or what do they call them? Sneakerheads. Yeah, I mean, there's just
there's
in
a
each,
niche
and
out
I'm
there
sure
for everybody.
the same dynamic that we have, where there's, oh, I don't like those Nike a-holes. You know, I'm a total Reebok guy.
I'm a Puma dude.
This is,
You know what, Kelsey? That is completely true. I have a friend, and he's marketing, and there's these chain of stores that are called Stupid Idiotic, and they're like in Vegas and in Beverly Hills and stuff like that, and they sell novelties. And he was a roommate of mine way back when, and he always had his eye on like marketing and creating products and stuff like that. He created these glasses, but they're like, you know how like the black bars, like whenever you do, they didn't want you to, in a magazine, they didn't want you to see what they look like, so they put the black over their eyes.
Yeah.
He created the black bar glasses. So he's got all these kind of novelties, and he said the only way and he's international. He said the only way you can really succeed as a businessman or entrepreneur is like little novelties, like little tribal type things that we're talking about, little niche things, because the bigger world, like you couldn't necessarily make a car line or start building airplanes. Like those things are all established. You're never ever going to get into those things, but these little niche things, so like you're talking about, like tennis shoes or this type of comic or this video game or whatever, there's like these little groups. And so that, I think, is 100% what's happening. So you're never going to have this mass, like worldwide kind of phenomenons anymore, because
no more Liefelds. No more. No more Liefelds.
Let me get this real quick. Canadian Thought for $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Got my Black and White Volume 1, Volume 2 today. The pin is really cool. Thanks. Hey, man, you did not have to super chat me for that, but I do appreciate it. And let me know what you think when you read it. Very, very proud of that book. Oh, look at that. Wait. Look at this. This is what he's talking about. That's the Black and White pin. Yeah.
It's got 2 frogs on the back, so you can secure it nicely to whatever you want to.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I got mine somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for supporting Todd and Kelsey. I think he's trying to find something there.
I did. I got all your stuff. Did you have some stickers?
Oh yeah, there's 2 stickers. There's Inko.
All right, cool.
With,
I've been putting everybody's stickers on my sketchbook, so I like
cool.
it. It's just covered in everybody's stickers, right? I need to get yours on there.
Inko looks racist. I disagree 100%.
No.
I really love that scope sight over the yin yang symbol. That's really sweet. I need that by itself.
That just came to me. I was really fortunate because at Hashtag Studios I had a graphic. She did many things, but she was a graphic designer as well. So it's really to work, to have somebody right there where you can go, I can doodle out an idea. This is usually how my doodles look. So then you come up with something like this. Like there's an idea for the 30th, black and white, right? So like a 3 and then the gun sight kind of thing. And you just scribble something like that. And then the next thing you know, graphic, boop, 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 here you go. And so Taylor Grosso put that together for me, and she was fantastic. Yeah, so the yin yang and the gun sight, that was my idea, but her execution.
Yeah.
It's like AI. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's like AI with a person. Can you do
Art
this?
prompted
With AI?
Yeah, art prompted. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Art. But it's the real thing. Art prompt.
Yeah.
So you can do logo design with AI.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably.
I'm sure.
Kelsey acts like he doesn't know, but he's using it all the time.
No, I've never messed with it with logo design. I have messed with it though. I usually use it to goof off with, or like the other day I wanted to see what it would do, like what it would create Nexus, like what AI's Nexus would look like.
Oh,
and
fun.
it all looked like stuff you see on video games. So it was with 6 fingers. So I don't know. It's kind of fun. I don't really have anything against it, except for if you're going to try to goad me into war,
or pass it off as real art.
Pass it off for real. Anytime you're going to lie with it, then it's wrong.
Yeah.
I like the novelty of it because there's some people, like I just saw, it was like Disney animation of Game of Thrones. So
see, that's funny. I want to see that.
The whole cast, man, it's awesome looking. And let me see if I can.
I knew somebody that did. I saw something that was like, what if they made the Avengers as like a 70s TV show or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, see, this is fun to me. I don't know.
Yeah. There are a lot of them are funny. I mean, to check out when they kind of do that.
I like it. I mean, I know that, and I'm sorry, Pedro, but once they get the animation thing worked out to where it's easy, I'm going to play with that to do some animation stuff.
I don't take offense to any of that. Like,
okay.
The thing is, because the thing is, like, I would never use it.
I want to make my book trailers nice and easy, be able to do like a book trailer and I'd love to, like, I have looked into it for flatting, and it's not there yet. But once they can do like, I'm gonna scan my art in, and then it can flat it in a second.
Yeah.
Why? I'd be dumb not to use it.
The only thing with animation, the only thing I see with animation, Kelsey, is like once you get to a certain like threshold, you can't allow the computer to make decisions for you. You know what I mean? So once you want like a specific acting, like how do you explain that? And that's the thing. Like I'm not faced for people using. Well, it's a tool like anything else.
In the end, it comes back to
It's
like having it's like being a writer and having an artist try to interpret what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And if you're the artist and the writer, it's just much easier for you to just do it than it is to kind of nail down exactly what you're looking for, Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this isn't the one I was looking.
Wow, that's really good, actually.
These are stills, or is it animated?
The one that I was referencing was like AI. I don't know what this is. These are actual scenes. The other one were just like character studies, but these are actually full on scenes.
God, that looks like hand drawn almost.
Yeah, dude. It looks like 90s Disney.
Yeah, it does.
So it's really good for doing parody and just throwaway, stuff for the moment.
Oh, dude, I love that.
Well, you know what's going to happen is these corporations, Disney. I mean, they're already pouring tons of money into their one person that can make a Disney film for them. They're doing it, and already we see DC trying to pick away at it a little bit. Like, here's an artist that doing something. I haven't really followed that story, but I've been hearing tale that, and I'm like, at some point, I think somebody else said this, and they're gonna like the most perfect rendition of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman that are gonna go on the collector's plates that you get on Shopping Network or whatever. Those are just gonna be AI.
Pick it up. Art, could you put it back up? There's something, and that's like the thing of AI, that it doesn't think for itself. And there was one of the scenes he's shown on Brienne start dancing with Jaime Lannister. Okay, can you go up?
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Was this it?
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah.
That's from Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's the same room.
Yeah, right.
Out of the same angle. So that's the thing. Like, AI, even as good as it looks, it's still derivative.
Yeah. See, I don't really like. I'm still kind of thinking about it as a tool. Like I'd love to be able to train my own model. Like, if I ever bothered to spend so much time on it, but like, think about having it train your own model on all your artwork, and that way you can you can do your pencils or even your inks, and then say, have it color it like you. But I still think we're a ways off, because it still takes so much time to program it to do that.
The thing
that
is
I could just do it,
They can customize it to a way that you have like a series of levers, and you can customize your thing.
You can pull like some
lever and pulleys and levers, and like when you can customize it to do what you want. But I don't see it happening. I
don't know. I've messed with it, and I don't. It's fun. It's like a toy. It's like getting a Nintendo when I was a kid. It's just fun to play around with. But the real magic for me, the reason I do art is it's like meditation, and I'm able to put pen to paper and work out ideas that are in my head. And when you get in that zone, it's a form of meditation, and I find very therapeutic for me. And I don't think AI is going to give that to me. So
no.
Well, I've coined this term called task-specific AI, and Kelsey, matter of fact, you just reminded me of it because when you said train it to do that one thing, or just your style, that's exactly what I kind of talk about when I talk about task-specific AI. And the problem with this medium, art, it's hard because every particular artist is a task-specific thing. So when you're building a car, that AI knows, I have to do these, I have to make these welds, put those bolts in, and that's, or just a knowledge base of an AI. When you go into a computer and you Google search, right? You want, boom, the AI knows, I need to give you this information. On the other hand, art is so very specific on each individual style that's where it kind of breaks that model of being task specific.
Maybe it's just I'm too old to really get too interested in it, because like I am my own trained model. There's little bits of RT Bear in my stuff. Even like I've trained my own model on all my favorite things, and I regurgitate art based on all those little things that I fed my own model in me. Yeah. So, but future generations. But see, on the flip side of that, here's a little good thing. It's like we've been so sick, and art would appreciate this as well. We've been so sick of like just stale cookie cutter pop crap. Everything is like run through synthesizers and blah blah blah. It's all designed and music has become rather stale, like new stuff. But I look on YouTube, and I've followed people that like were kids, like a kid drummer. There's this Japanese girl. She was like a little girl when she started drumming. Now she's drumming like she's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. There's this guy who he looks really strange. He's got like tattoos all over him, but he plays the guitar like nobody. Oh, yeah. Now he's in a famous band that's doing really well, and it's all over the place. These are like real virtuoso artists that grew up with the love of actual sound, actual instruments making music. And I believe that we're going to carry that legacy on in comics and art and all this stuff. Filmmaking, there's still people that want to make things that's an emulsive, it's created on actual film with chemicals and light. It's magic. It's magic. So there's still always going to be that,
Yeah, for me, it's like like when I played music in the 70s and early 80s, like the musicianship was not what it is. Like these kids on YouTube and stuff.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah. Like, you even look at the bands of that time; none of them were as good as this. But the thing is,
the drumming has gotten insane.
But they created stuff out of nothing, out of whole cloth, right? Like these bands like Zeppelin, all like Floyd, all these guys. I mean, they had their influence, but they were creating out of whole cloth. A lot of these people now, they're emulating stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like they are like AI stand-ins. So and then the other problem is like they are so good. There's a lot of them that are really, really good, but there's just no band to plug them into, right? There isn't a band like Pink Floyd that's looking for a drummer. You know what I mean? There isn't any of this kind of established, and there isn't an established music or industry. I mean, comics is dissolving. There isn't really like any place to go to make money. So then everybody has to kind of like what we're doing, wear many hats. Like we dream it up, we create it, we market it, we sell it. We're the personality behind it, all those things, and that's like that's like what, maybe 10% of the creative people out there. Most people are like look at Kelsey. I'm sure I can speak for you and Clint as well. Like, we're introverts. Like you said, you get lost in the work, right? You could just spend hours just drawing and not have a care for the outside world.
You don't spend 30 years in your room drawing unless you're a little bit of an introvert.
Yeah.
But now we have to kind of get outside of that, and we have to start talking what we do, and a lot of us aren't really necessarily comfortable with that or particularly good at it, but we do understand that we need to do that. So I really do feel bad for like some of these virtuosos. Like, there was this woman, she plays Eruption, the Eddie Van Halen solo on a violin, and she plays effects pedals and stuff, and it freaking rocks, man. It's great. But it's like, well, how does she make money?
YouTube, I guess.
YouTube, yeah.
Well, if she can get a good fan base, and she can engineer her own CDs and sell them to her own audience, and they can tell their friends, and you could probably sell a couple million that way if they're really good.
She probably doesn't even need CDs. She could just get her song on Spotify or something.
Yeah, right.
Well,
just get orders.
And then you get a TV commercial to use your song, and then you're worldwide at that point, or whatever.
There's a lot of people that have done that. Taylor Davis is another violinist, and she's on Spotify.
Is she the one that dances around? It's more like a theatrical event. Like, she's kind of like a ballet dancer. Plays at the same time.
She does theatricals and soundtracks to like Zelda, and she's cosplayed up like characters.
That is not a violin. Come on.
Yeah, I can hear it.
That's insane. What?
Oh, she's using a whammy. That's a whammy pedal.
Wow.
I love the pants.
Yeah. Listen to that sound. That's insane.
There's a lot of sustain on that.
She does the tapping though.
Yeah, the kids are all about the tapping now.
I mean, this woman's a professional musician from the looks of it.
Yeah. I don't even know how you make that. Listen to this. This is crazy. Eddie Van Halen's like, can you do that while strutting?
Yeah. Well, she almost looks like she'd be like America's Got Talent act or something too, to get her word out.
Right. Yeah, America's Got
like,
Talent.
how do you make money? Like you said, it's just YouTube, right? It's just getting hits off of YouTube. Because like would you, if you had a nightclub, would you? I would hire somebody like that.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure she does shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she looks like somebody who probably worked in the symphony for how many years and like started like messing around doing her own stuff. And yeah, I'm sure she does shows. She probably like that'd be like a Vegas act probably. I'm sure there's ways to monetize it.
Music will always have a much easier road than say like us, because we actually they could just play it, somebody can hear it and like whoa that's great. No, you have to, like, we can have some people in street corners reading the comics maybe, but they actually have to like but they actually have to like have a certain investment or even an initial interest in comics already to like try some of this stuff. So it's a little trickier, but
yeah, music is more international. It's more like across the board. Like, you don't have to understand the language. You don't have to, You don't have to have the skills to read or interpret a comic book. Like, you could just hear it and just go, wow, that sounds amazing. Especially if it doesn't have, lyrics or words, it's just instrumental stuff. I think that's why, classic music is so, so endearing to most, because there just isn't anything to really detract from it. Anybody can enjoy that. There's no words, there's no language, all that stuff.
Oh man, I still put on some Zeppelin and it just like gets right into your soul, It's just like
I listened to Physical Graffiti the other day, and there's one thing like you guys were talking about, like sterile and technology and stuff. There is one thing, like, because I did play the drums but I didn't go up to like where they always kind of had click tracks, but the drummer would kind of lay down if they needed a click track. But the drummer did it. It was recorded. But now they have like a computer click track, right? So then they sync everything into the click track. So it's kind of like it's already slotted, it's already formulated. And then they do like 4 bars of this, put it in, 4 bars of this. And sometimes it's just cut and paste. They'll do 4 bars and then repeat. You know what I mean? Like, they won't even play it all the way through. And so there's one thing about, there's this great documentary. It's Kansas of all bands, right? And they talk about, like, when they record the first album, these are like 6-7 minute songs. These are like pop songs. These are epics, right? And they played each one of those songs from start to finish when they recorded. They did overdubs later, but the whole band went in, just like the Beatles. They recorded the entire song, and if you screwed up, you had to start all over again. And you didn't want to be that member that screwed it up so that everybody else had to record again. So if you did a guitar solo in that, but then the drummer missed a beat, then that guitar solo is scrapped. Like, you can't. Can
you imagine like early Rush songs or like early Genesis? They're like 12-minute long songs with whole story arcs and like,
let's record La Villa Strangiato. Let's do it now.
They're just laying it out. But the one thing about like really cool drummers from like the 60s and 70s is like Ginger Baker and John Bonham. These guys, like Ian Pace, they weren't playing to the click track. So when you listen, they're speeding up and slowing down based on how they feel, like emotion. Right. And this stuff's undefinable. Like, you look at like, well, why is that successful, or why is that so?
It's organic.
Yeah, it's organic. It's undefinable. It's just kind of moments that happen. And films, I talked about on a live stream the other day. Like, films used to go on location. So if the wind or the sun was a certain place, or the weather was off, they still would film, right? And sometimes the best scenes would come out of that because the environment is now a component to the storytelling, which it wasn't before.
And also limitations. Like, for example, like, I'm a big fan of spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
And Ennio Morricone didn't have money to hire an orchestra. So it's like, okay, Giuseppe, you play the guitar. What do you have? You play that. And with that, they came with like the soundtrack for what westerns are today.
Well, like
all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, we don't have any money to make to hire the orchestra.
Something.
There was like that great stories about John Ford making his westerns, and somehow he always had this like magic touch to get something like in I can't remember which movie it was, but it was like this couple are just married and they're coming down, and like her handkerchief or something blows away and then blows toward camera and off camera. It was like, and everybody was like, how do you do that? And he's like, magic, or whatever. But it was just a random event. There was no planning it.
I love the Ridley Scott, like Blade Runner behind the scenes. There's all these discs and stuff. And the stuntman's talking, and he was filling in for Deckard, I think. And so he had the trench coat and everything, and he had to jump from building to building. It was that climactic scene, right? And so they kept spraying him because all this atmosphere with water. Well, it's leather, and it started getting heavier. So, and Ridley Scott's a perfectionist. So another take. Let's take take 37 or whatever. So one, this guy was getting tired, and two, that thing was getting heavy.
Yeah.
Right, because he's soaked with this jacket. And so that scene where he leaps and he hits the side and then grabs that girder, that's an outtake.
I didn't realize that. That's hilarious.
That wasn't, he was supposed
that just made it way more exciting too.
Yeah. And I do think like Ridley Scott is twisted enough and he's waiting for shit like that to happen.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not about 37 takes. It's not about perfectionism. It's about that one take where things just kind of magic happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting
so
tired.
I'm sure he wanted to make that guy feel good and say, okay, we'll do one more. You know, just like,
yeah.
you know, but yeah, it's like, that's the take, man. Let's do that.
We've lost part of that magic with Star Wars because the original broom-handled Mauser for Han Solo's blaster, you know, and then, you know, R2-D2 had the little coin slots, you know, put on him and such. And so then later on, they just produce whatever they want. You know, they just manufacture a blaster that just looks like a blaster.
Right.
And
dude. Like,
we lose that organic look of stuff.
Like Anakin Skywalker, like his lightsaber, the one that the Obi-Wan gave to Luke.
The Graflex flashbulb. Yeah,
it's a flashbulb. It's they grabbed like, let's use this. This is a lightsaber. So
and you know what they called it? Industrial Light and Magic. That's what it was, because these were magic tricks. They were doing in-camera magic tricks, and now the magic it's kind of gone because the technology isn't the same as like some guy he reads a script and has to figure out how the fuck to make this happen, right? Like, how do you do that? You know. And these guys were just pulling stuff out of their butts constantly and just making this stuff happen.
I mean, I hate. I mean, this maybe not having a lot of money is a good thing for Hollywood. You know, like, can you imagine? Like, okay, well, there's no more $150 million to spend on these movies, but some young guy wants to make his new thing like a Star Wars or whatever, and he's going to have to get creative, you know, because they're just not the money.
And there's another thing that's going to be beneficial if you don't have that much money. The people who are in film for the wrong reasons are going to go elsewhere. So I think it's going to be a blessing. Like when we get like, I mean, I don't want to say like $12 budgets, but just bring them down from 200 million, because the results are not showing it, man. The movies look like crap.
And what I've noticed about money is that, like, if you have a bunch of money, you have a bunch of money to spend on these things, then there isn't any importance to it, right? So if you can replicate something over and over again in the studio digitally, then it kind of loses any kind of real meaning. But that, I guarantee you, that shot where that stunt guy jumped from building to building in Blade Runner, that was cherished, right? That was 1 in a million. You know, they got it on that day. They caught it in camera, and fuck, everybody knew it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like magic happened, and that made it into the film. But it wasn't pissed away, right? Like they knew they had something. But like digitally, it doesn't mean anything, because the director can just go, hey, can you replicate this? But put this character in it. Can you do this? Can you do that?
Take 2 and combine it with take 3. You know, add some more people in the background, sprinkle them in.
And not only like, you did all this. Can you move the camera down a little bit?
Yeah.
And it's just
my friend's a storyboard artist, and he talks about like digital for storyboard artists was a death, because they always would have to do redraws, and they'd have to do multiple, shots of the same scene or whatever it is. But now, like, directors would nuance stuff. You know what I mean? It's like,
and that's where the money is.
Like, move this slightly over this way. You know,
what's like this. Even in that new Top Gun movie, I mean, they were making all these claims that it was like 100% real, and then I saw this whole thing on YouTube about how, yes, they did go into airplanes and film it, but then they show a shot of him in the cockpit, and they change the cockpit, remove the guy in the back, add the airplane in the back, add all the sky, and it's a digital scene at that point. It's just this one shot of him going, that's
a digital composite, But dude, I remember the good old days of storyboarding. It's just like, I remember in 2005, I was doing this ISIS commercial with a Brazilian director who was very indecisive. Dude, I got off that set like with 7K out of redraws. Just over and over and over, and I was just smiling because I was charging by the drawing. And it was awesome.
Anything you want, pal.
Anything you want, pal. You don't like that camera? Okay, let's do it again.
I can take the expression on that face.
Dude. Yeah,
and you know, back in like tangible like filmmaking, like in camera stuff. Like when I was a kid and I learned like what the old James Bond, they would always set some kind of world record, like a Guinness Book of World Record. This is the biggest motorcycle jump from building to building, or this it's like jump of a boat, you know, out of the water and over, and you know, like live and let die, and you know, all these things. And as a kid, as a guy, I was like, fuck, they did that for real, man. Like that was cool shit. You know, even like Dukes of Hazzard and some of that cheesy TV stuff, you're still like,
they're for real.
They're jumping that General Lee for good or bad. And when you saw it kind of coming down and then they would cut it, you knew that car was decimated. You knew
how many Chargers were destroyed by that?
Oh, tons of them. I had a friend of mine that bought one. Yeah,
they went crazy. They went to Inspector. They had the largest on-screen explosion, like what you're talking about with the Bond movies. For the Guinness records, they had the biggest on-screen explosion. I just saw that the other day in one of the Daniel Craig.
It doesn't look that big though.
Well, and you can tell it had to be big because they were standing like 2 miles away from
I don't know. Maybe it definitely was like huge, but like I remember seeing like, you know, the explosion in True Lies looked huge because it had him like running away from it, you know, or even in Blowout with Jeff Bridges, that freaking enormous explosion, or even the sail barge in Jedi looked massive, even though that was a model. So it's just like so much. Yeah, you got to give it some scale.
Yeah, do it.
And that was probably the problem, is they were doing it for real, so they couldn't have the kind of fake movie scale they wanted.
Right, they couldn't cheat it, because somebody would have got hurt. But also, I forget which one was it. Casino Royale. This was also the Daniel Craig, where that DV8 or whatever is just flipping.
Oh, the
they
car.
set a world record with that too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It doesn't hit the girl, and he flips it, and that thing is horrific looking. That looks like somebody got jacked, and I saw the behind the scenes on that. There were tires flying off that thing and everything, and that driver walked away. I'm like,
oh, well, I mean, you're talking about, I mentioned True Lies, you're talking about accidents, but remember when they blew up that bridge, and then that last shot made that van like flip up in the air and land right on the thing? That was an accident too, and that just made it so great. All these little things from doing it for real, the little nuances that you can't control.
That director that blows everything up? He did that Transformers movies and stuff.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
I love one of the outtakes. I think maybe it was a Transformer movie or something like that, and they were doing something like that. They had this slingshot that was throwing fucking cars.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like he's doing stuff like every kid would love to do. And then there was some kind of like explosion or something. And then they're kind of like cut, and then they're like, "Yeah, we did it," or whatever. And then one of the like stunt guys goes, "There's a freaking car on like a 3-story building. It's just like impacted the side of the."
Oh, crazy!
It's just like, because there was shit like they weren't always 100% in control of that stuff, you know. And,
that's what you want. You want it to be a little out of control, just a
little bit chaotic. A little bit chaotic.
But I love the crazy Michael Bay crew, because I think they're always the same thrill seekers. And
it's the same
like the
guys,
Jackass guys. They're like those guys, but they're doing like special effects. And there's like one guy, he's got this little like what do they call those mini go-kart things, right? But this thing is like souped up, and he's like ground level, and he's got a camera mounted on it. And all that shit you see like in between traffic and stuff, that guy's in the stunts driving something that has very little protection on it. So if anything happened, that guy, even with that roll cage stuff, he would probably meet his maker.
He did one recently with Jake Gyllenhaal called Ambulance or something like that. not a great movie, but there's like his crew still, like you're saying, they do great stuff, and they got drones involved now.
Oh, now
and he found like this kid that can fly drones like nobody's business, and he'll have cars like jumping, and the drone is like going under it and keeping them in frame and things like that. It's just insane stuff with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate all that kind of stuff of his filmmaking.
Well, I want to take a break, and this is the reason for the season. This is Nexus Scourge, and let me hit refresh. So
I'm from Texas. I say Scourge.
Scourge. 300. So 19,533 backers, you guys. This thing is awesome. Brilliant. It's the amazing Mike Barron writing, and the major talent of Kelsey Shannon doing pencils, ink, and coloring, right? You're doing the colors as well?
Yeah, I'm a one-stop shop.
Yeah, this is a one-stop shop stuff, you guys. Link, I will post in the description. I think Eric Huffle's been putting it in there. If you see it, click on it. If you like what you see, back a book.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Looks freaking amazing. There's the stairway to the galaxy.
We all love that one.
Awesome.
This is I think my favorite bit, because you get to see the Scourge engulfing the planet, and I did like the step-by-step where it just goes to black, and there's just a little pinhole light left, and then you get to see him just like, oh god,
I like that. It looks like an evil clawed hand, like grabbing.
Yeah.
Planet too. Yeah, it's really cool. You've got a good imagination, man. That's another thing about like drawing. You gotta have a great imagination.
Yeah, so much of this stuff is built on all this great old media that we're talking about, the stuff with real soul. I trained my model on all this great stuff, so I in some ways I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm just kind of regurgitating things that I've seen and done, but in a way we all are, but that it's still like
storytelling.
Yeah, but then every once in a while you do something that I don't know if you guys feel this way, but sometimes I'll do stuff where I don't see the influence in it. I see me, and I'm like, wow, okay, I like that. That's great. It's something beyond. It's what all of my influence of birth, this new thing, yeah. So
I always say that about like the Beatles, because all my analogies are music based, but like they start off doing copy tunes from 50s music, and then somewhere along the way those guys kind of developed into their own entities, and then even on some level their own voices within the band itself. You know what I mean? Like there were 4 individuals that still express themselves within a song, and I still feel that way, Kelsey, with what I do, because I'm not as established. I haven't penciled as long as you have, even though I've been around quite a bit, but I still feel like I'm like the Beatles. Like I got all these influences, and that they're not quite a coherent single voice yet. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll draw and I'll go, oh, I'm channeling Alex Toth here, or I'm channeling this guy. So you still kind of feel like a little bit of a fraud, but then you look at it and it's coherent in the whole package. You go, no, this is still kind of an original voice. This is my voice.
Yeah. It's spooky sometimes where I'll do something and I'm like, you can immediately tell who it is that you're drawn from, and it's like, oh, that's spooky. It's like suddenly a Liefeld face on your character.
Yeah.
Like that.
You know what? The thing is, everybody does it, because I remember when I was doing finishes on Dan Jurgens. Like Dan Jurgens has, and I'm not slighting him at all. The guy's brilliant. He's an amazing talent, but like there would be shots like an upshot. Oh, well, that's Gil Kane. Or there's this shot. Oh, that's kind of Neil Adams. So it's kind of like there's these memorized kind of shots that you have in your head.
Well, like I look at Jim Lee and I see like John Byrne, I see like Gil Kane, I see all kinds of other guys, but now. But then it was just Jim Lee.
What I'm saying is every one of these shots is that influence. Like it's not like all these influences are connected into one look. It's like this is definitely like a Gil Kane that doesn't coincide. Like it's a Superman shot, right? But then the profile will be, I don't know, John Byrne. You know what I mean? But all the shots are consistent. So all the up shots are always kind of Gil Kane. You know what I mean? The profiles are always kind of this guy.
It's like looking at Dale Keown stuff. I mean, like once you know all the people, you kind of see when I was a kid, it was just Dale Keown, wow. But then you start seeing Bernie Wrightson influence. You start seeing like John Byrne. You start seeing all these other characters in there, and you're like, oh, that's what makes Dale Keown is like. These particular kind of influences that come together and he creates something new out of it, and that's a special thing. I love it.
For me, I'm still striving for that one coherent.
Tony Scott greater than Michael Bay. I agree.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Tony Scott.
Yeah, R.I.P. for sure. Well, let's start wrapping it up, you guys. We do have Nexus Scourge, or how do you say it, Kelsey?
Scourge.
Like a pirate, and the great Mike Barron and Kelsey Shannon on art, and the book looks fantastic. And the character, what did he say? It's been around for 43 years. Is that what Mike said?
He said maybe even billions of years, didn't he? He said like.
But I remember reading it before I broke into the comics industry, and I remember.
Oh, you mean Nexus? Well, I thought you meant Scourge. Okay, yeah.
No, Nexus. And the thing is, like, when you were a kid, I don't know if you guys were like me. I didn't really go, oh, Marvel, DC, or Independence. If I saw it and it looked cool, I bought it. You know,
I had
like
stuff from
Cadillac
First Comics, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Yeah, I got it from everywhere.
Even Stupid Miss Tree, like I did, like
like a
bunch of junk. I just bought it all, the DNA agents, and
I'm still doing it. I recently become obsessed with Bob Hope comics. I love the artists in those books.
Those things are drawn really
They're
well.
Great.
Yeah. What is that one guy's the main guy's name?
Well, there's Bob Oxner who did it. He did it toward the end, but then the lion's share of that was done by maybe another Bob. I can't remember now.
Bob Oxner, that guy,
he's brilliant.
His ass off, man.
He's so good.
Did he do a run on Super? He did a bunch of like.
He inked a ton of like Superman, Superwoman, Supergirl, right? Like. He even did some covers and stuff like that, but mostly he just spent his time. He did that Angel and Ape series.
That's what it was. Yeah, this super like sexy little cartoon girls and stuff.
Yeah, he drew some of the best ladies.
Guys, speaking of old comic books, I mean, I used to read this. Well, it was in the newspapers. I already ordered. As soon as I'm gonna show it to you guys. It's an Argentinian comic book by Hector Osterheld called Not.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
I know that one.
Italian artist, awesome, and Argentinian writer, like very, very good. So yeah, just check it out, dude. Like I was floored. I wasn't expecting it. Like when I saw the art on that. So yeah, guys, if you can get your hands, you can get it in Spanish. I know it's translated in English, but it's very, very expensive in English.
Mm-hmm.
But
once again, you guys, I dropped the Nexus link.
Oh yeah.
In the chat here, so you guys click this sucker, go over and back yourself a book. And I see something that Clint wants to part on. What is this?
Pirate Queen versus
nice.
Girl. This is my upcoming book. This should be launching in about less than 2 weeks, probably a week from this Friday. Eric put the link in the chat, which I appreciate. I sent Maidens of Mayhem to the printer a couple days ago. So I'll be starting shipping that out in about 2 weeks is my printer turnaround. I'm going to be shipping out Maidens of Mayhem while I'm running the Pirate Queen versus Slave Girl campaign. But yeah, you can get signed up to the mailing list. You'll get a free lenticular trading card when you sign up. So everybody click on that link and make sure to sign up. And just keeping the ball rolling. More Pirate Queen books, more Slave Girl books. More Blue Bombshell books coming.
Yeah, I see your influences. Yeah. I like it.
Mine are blatant. I haven't coalesced into everything else. I just like I take from a lot of people.
Love it.
But yep, that's launching in less than 2 weeks, and get on that mailing list.
For sure, yeah. And I got to get a link for this because, like I started off, Clint, you and I don't have a link now in the Pontificators. There's nothing like for people to go to. So I'll send this to me in the green room, and I'll try to add it to the description. Yeah.
Yep, we'll do.
And Todd, you got anything you want to promote?
At the moment, no, I'm still in the middle of my writing, so I'm not to the stage of promoting it out yet. Yep.
Well, it's very good having you pop in, man. It's been a long time, and it's good to have you back. Pedro, what do you got?
He's out of here.
Uh-oh.
He's frozen. He's a robot. He's
been frozen all night, but he's still been talking.
Yeah, the voice is coming through. Actually, I clicked on this. It's not showing up. Full screen layout.
It's like one of those.
Yeah, I think we're having some technical difficulties because
there you go.
It's not showing up.
Yeah, it's mine.
Well, we had you for a second, Pedro.
I was having these issues earlier on Graybeard, so somebody said there's something going on with the internet.
And you're coming in. Yeah, you roboted early on, but you're coming.
Yeah, but you were.
I get it.
So.
Well, I'm going to take this moment to thank everybody for backing and supporting Black and White. The campaign is closed now. It's been an epic journey, and I do appreciate you guys giving me the time to draw what I think is the best work of my career so far. So far, I hope to top it at some point, but so far, and thank you guys. The only thing I have to clarify is the commission tiers have not shipped yet. So I still need 3 characters for you guys to draw. So there's 3 backers of those commission tiers that haven't given me the characters yet. So everything else is pretty much done. My wife, Pamela, she goes, she finally did the math. She goes, I put out like 1,800 books or something like that in 5 weeks.
Wow.
Like she delivered the entire campaign.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So now she's just kind of like, how you get after you're so focused, you're just kind of like, you just like case. So now she just kind of like, and she goes, I can't sleep, but I'm so tired. Like all that stuff. You're still hyped up. And so I just want to thank all you guys for that. And also the next campaign is going to be this art book, Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. Nice. And let me go full screen on my
Oodles of Doodles.
Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. So this is the art book. And we had a very limited print run. We crowdfunded, I think, through Kickstarter. And I think there were maybe 500. We completely sold out. Wow. And if you search on eBay, these books are going for 90 to 110, I think, on eBay. So these books are a little bit collectible. They're rare, and so we're going to bring it back, you guys. So that's going to be next month. We're gonna bring back Oodles of Doodles, and there's one thing I want to do. I want to add 8 pages, and I want to do a new cover for it since it's the second printing. So we're gonna do those as stretch goals, and I'm gonna have a whole CG section in there. So I've been doing a lot of CG commissions and stuff lately, and so here's one of them. Let me see.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we'll come back to you.
Right. No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm just checking if I'm back. Yeah. My internet is just acting out.
Your voice. Ooh. Wow.
Yeah. So this is going to be in the book. This is a commission, and this is Juju. She's one of the big bads for the next Black and White story arc. So for volume 4, this is one of the big bads. So this is what you guys expect in the next story arc. So we're going to bring in some of the more overt supernatural meets science. Don't worry, you guys. There's going to be a lot of robot battles in here as well. So we're going to have We're gonna have skeletal warriors. We're gonna have robots. We're gonna have all that cool shit. So
robots versus skeletons. That's hilarious.
Oh,
Look at
dude,
that. Hey,
Love it.
There's gonna be some of that shit going on, and I was definitely channeling Ray Harryhausen on this. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Jason and the Argonauts, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun with this. So
Look at the
this
decay
is
on
what-
that sword, man.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
guys can
awesome.
expect more of that with the
Mhm.
next story arc. And so what do you
Mhm.
got for it, Pedro? You want me to
A splash page I was working today for Waifus and Kajis. I called it Robots and Ass.
Well, for some reason, man, it's not.
Oh man, you had me at ass. Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's not showing up.
That's weird. It's not showing up. Full screen. It's not showing up. That's really. Did you
No.
try it? Try it again.
Okay.
Try loading it.
Sharing. Yeah. Share screen.
We're getting sunspot or something.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, dude.
I'm thinking the worst, man. This might be the end of the world.
Well, it definitely
How about
is, but
From the way things are headed, yeah, Art.
Always
How about-
got to bring everything down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this.
How about now?
Add to stage. There you go. Woohoo!
hey, wow. Well,
So
that's
this is
Yeah.
lots and ass.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, she's got a dump truck on her.
Oh yeah,
Jump
she
in the
is.
trunk. Yeah.
good color.
Is-
I like this color.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, Waifus and Kajis, this is page 43.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey Pedro, can you make him? Yeah, make him bigger. Let me see. I'm gonna go full screen, but it's not gonna help much.
Oh, there
Mhm.
you go. Oh,
she looks great.
bro.
Yeah, how fun.
Yeah, so she's getting ready for the robot, getting her like
I would have done that zipper down a little bit lower,
a
page.
little bit.
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
I know, Glenn.
Listen to the man. He knows what he's talking about.
I mean, I don't want to step into his territory, you know. You know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
you're welcome
He's a reader.
aboard, man.
Okay.
There's always room on the TNA bus.
Yeah, good. So yeah, this is Robots and Ass. Waifus and Kajis, guys, are going to be 130 pages. I'm very excited for you
That's
guys
insane.
to see the results.
Yeah, good looking
And
stuff.
Yeah, this is the American robot codenamed Petunia,
Man.
and the pilot is Jackie Harris from Illinois. So yeah, join the mailing list. It's going to be fun.
Wow, that is so good, man. I can't wait for that book. We'll keep you informed on. Well, Pedro will on all his social media.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep checking in on Pontificators every Wednesday night. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank everybody that hung out with us for the little like over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Also our special guest, which was Mike Barron, and unexpected guest, Kelsey Shannon. Thanks for
yeah, dude.
light.
What a luxury.
Yeah.
They were like, starts at 8, and then I was like, okay, I got time. I'm eating soup and farting around, and then I see you guys are on. I'm like, what the hell? No,
You know,
8.
it always confuses me.
Texas time.
Like on the bros, they go, it starts at 7, it starts at 8, but nobody said, like, we're all from different time zones.
Central, yeah.
Nobody ever clarifies. So I'm always the bonehead, and then they just jump all over me. It's like, is that Eastern Standard Time? Yes, Art, it's Eastern Standard Time. Like, for some reason, that's the gospel, right? It's always Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I didn't get the memo, so sue me.
Central.
Yes, Central. Bitches. So you're in Texas too, Kelsey?
Well, I'm in Louisiana, but I bounced back and forth between Louisiana and Texas, so I got family in Texas. I used to live near you, actually.
Sweet.
You probably live in the same neighborhood I used to live in.
Yeah, I mean it's gorgeous here. There's enough of like the West and enough of the South. Like it's a really good blend of it. And I don't mind. Everybody's like, oh, the humidity, whatever. It's not that bad to me. I mean, summers in California can be pretty freaking horrific. So I don't really. It doesn't really bug me much.
Yeah, you get used to it.
But yeah, come next time you're in Texas, man. If you're in Houston or Houston area, man, we'll hang out. It'll be fun. And you guys, the reason for the season right now is Nexus Scourge. And
Scourge.
And let me see if I still have the link copied and pasted. Yes, I believe this is it. Yes. So you guys click this bad boy, go over, back a copy, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So congratulations, Kelsey. You hit a grand slam home run with this. The art looks so amazing. And
Awesome.
excuse me. And thanks again to everybody in the chat. Thanks for the super chats. And you guys take care. And we'll see you next week, 8 Eastern Standard Time. Pontificators. Be there, be square.